The Gungans with their big boomers and their blue balls dropping on your face has never been more deadly, but we've had a couple of counters come to the fore that are interesting and very valuable for people to work with. Now don't forget, the Gungans are going to be deadly until this attacker Cron disappears in about a month's time, so you are still going to want to have some counters up your sleeves. I'm going to show you what I've been using recently, and hopefully you'll avoid situations like this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen of the tribe, to another Galaxy of Heroes video with me, your bull boy Scribe. How the devil are we all doing here? Now, ladies and gentlemen, you might want to take a look. So basically, it's ill-advised, ladies and gentlemen, it's ill-advised to go into Grand Arena after you've been streaming for about 8 hours playing Zero Company. Dope game, by the way. I'll be playing that, streaming it later again tonight, and we'll be doing some giveaways for free copies of the game, so make sure you do tune in for that. It's not advised, however, to go into Grand Arena and, you know, be in a state of, I have been streaming for several hours and perhaps been imbibing too much alcohol during that time, because you go on tilt and you even fail to full clear because you do stupid stuff like taking the wrong capital ship and get screwed by RNG a number of times. However, one thing that is constant when it comes to Grand Arena at the minute is the proliferation that is Gungans and the attacker Cron. For those that are uninitiated, you can do some crazy stuff with the Gungan faction right now. Particularly if you have modded to lean into it. Tarples over here is a deadly brother trucker, okay? He's got this ouch time, and it means ouch time in every sense of the word. You deal true damage to all enemies on the enemy side of the field, obviously, and that true damage is obviously not mitigated by pretty much anything. There are only two things in this game that mitigate true damage. Effects that reduce damage to a certain number or by a certain percent, like the Galactic Legend modifier, right? Galactic Legend modifier reduces incoming damage by 30%. That will stop true damage or reduce it. The other thing that will do it is Resilient Defense, which drops all damage to 1, or Raise Ultimate, which drops all damage to 1. Those things reduce true damage. And also the last thing that will reduce or increase true damage is Relic Delta. So the difference between relic levels will increase or decrease the damage delta received, right? Those are the only things that can circumvent it. So things that are ignored are things like defense, okay? So, ouch time, dealing true damage, is a lot of damage. Now, when you pair it with the rather fantastic Datacrons that we've had for some time now, these attacker Datacrons, let's find one over here, where you convert basically 400% of your current defense and create that into offense at the start of your first turn, and you pair that with the fact that the Gungans over here, particularly with Boss Nass, when he creates a shield generator, it causes some interesting mechanics. I'm just trying to find out where it is. Where is it? Is it on the shield generator itself? Here we go. While the shield generator is active, the Gungan allies have the following benefits. 500% defense. So you are multiplying your defense to 6 times its original value, and then you are multiplying that 6 times original value of your defense by 400%, and you're adding that to the attacker's offense, creating basically monstrous levels of offense on your 2 attacker units, namely being Tarples and Puma Deer. So Tarples over here with this true damage, so they can't mitigate this by pretty much anything. We've said very few examples of things that can lower that damage output. You end up something monstrous, right? So if you've modded your Tarples for a decent amount of speed and a decent amount of damage and a hefty amount of armor, because the higher this base armor is, the higher your defense value is, the more that it gets multiplied and then multiplied again and then added to your offense, you create a bit of a monster that does massive amounts of true damage. I believe that mine effectively has damage somewhere in the region of about 18,000 when all things come together, which means you end up doing ridiculous levels of damage. So, if you throw that in a GAC environment with a hyper-quick Boss Nass, like a 360 speed Boss Nass, don't forget he gets 30 speed from his leadership, and he's a motorboating son of a gun, you're getting a Boss Nass at 390 speed, you've got a Jar Jar that can interrupt turns, gain bonus turns to his allies, and if Tarples takes a turn, he's just going to drop balls in their face and everybody's going to die. There are a couple of counters that I've been using to get rid of this. Let's go over the 2 most prominent ones to give you a little bit of safety. Now don't forget as well, using Gungans like this, they are also a highly valuable offensive tool, and I've been using that to great effect as well. But our first counter that is pretty reliable is Rot of the Hut. Now, I will preface this by saying yes, my Rot of the Hut is 7 stars and it is Relic 10, and those things matter. We've already spoken about how Relic Delta will influence the damage that true damage does. If he has higher Relic levels, he's going to be reducing that incoming damage based on the Relic Delta table, so more Relic levels, more good business, right? He's also incredibly thick and fast. He's got all of his Omicrons. I haven't really modded him in a way that is like super tanky. He's more sort of offensive based for me. So he's got 120k health, 75k protection, pretty decently fast. He's got a crit damage triangle and he's got 12,500 damage. He's not modded particularly well for like survivability. But when you throw it in with his focus data Cron as well, over here, you're adding yourself. The defense doesn't matter, because Tarples is going to ignore the defense, but 100% additional health. So that 125,000 health or whatever it was is all of a sudden doubled up to 250,000, which makes it a lot easier to survive those big hits. So here we can go back to one of my previous GACs where we use Rot of the Hut versus Boss Nass. Now obviously you do want to get rid of that shield generator pretty quickly because that's the thing that really keeps them going and alive and kicking. Now the basic with Rotter does double tap and will hit that shield generator multiple times, so you kind of want to focus on that. But as you can see, Rotter is actually able at high relic levels with a good Datacron to tank the damage. See, we took 130,000 there. Now, it must be said that that Tarples is only Relic 7, so that Relic Delta is causing a significant difference there in the damage output. Because of things like that, you are able to tank the damage. If there was no Delta, or if the modding was bad, or the Datacron was bad, or the Tarples was modded for even more levels of defense and offense and stuff like that, this counter can absolutely 100% fall apart. So it's only something that you should really do if you are confident in your Rotter's ability. Don't go in there with like a 5-star Relic 4 Rotter against a Relic 9 Tarples with an offense Cron modded correctly and expect this to work out as well. All it takes is one special one from Tarples to just immediately wipe out. I just love the fact that we get fireworks at the end there. To immediately wipe out Rotter in a single fell swoop. So this is a solid counter, but only in the right circumstance. This next counter that I'm showing you is Great Mothers. Now this one is very particular as well when it comes to how does it work effectively. You do really need to do a speed check over here. Is your Great Mothers faster than the enemy Boss Nass? If the Boss Nass is faster, it will turn you around because he can use that second special and he'll strip a bunch of turn meter and all of the damage will start loading in and Tarples will get a bunch of turn meter and defeat you. Now I'm in this instance using Asajj Ventress with her Cron to give her bonus turns every time the enemy takes a bonus turn. Now you do not want to bless Asajj, you want to bless Stilled Spirit, and your first target should always be Tarples when it comes to Doomed. You get rid of that protection. This way, even if you lose, as long as you don't lose every single unit on the field, which you shouldn't because Spirit has got Foresight, you should still be able to get rid of Tarples before things get too hairy. Okay, cool. So as we can see over here, that Tarples is getting dangerously close to a turn. We're just going to use some sort of special with Asajj to try and trigger some turns. Unfortunately, our Spirit is currently... sorry, my game is apparently talking in the background. Shush, dear. We are busy. Yeah, we unfortunately had frustration on Spirit, so she couldn't assist, and Tarples over there is gaining some attacks. But as soon as you have the opportunity, slap him down. Now, the reason I don't particularly like this counter is it feels like there are too many checkpoints where things can go wrong to take out this team. It only takes one misstep, a bonus turn immediately going to Tarples, dropping bombs. If the enemy is slightly faster than you, it can all go wrong very quickly. This doesn't feel like something you can effectively outmod, okay? It feels like this is almost a Hail Mary, a just in case. Now, it does feel like even in a worst case scenario, you should at least be able to get rid of Tarples, provided you doomed him first. Maybe you get a turn with Great Mothers, you do the AoE, he's got no protection, so it's easy to deal with after that. Just make sure you don't do what I do and doom Jar Jar over there. That was me just being so excited that I got rid of Tarples. I was like, good, we can get rid of Jar Jar, but you can't hit Jar Jar while the shield generator is active. We don't have an unavoidable attack on this team. Thankfully, it worked out fine in the end. But again, this is something that to me is just a break glass in case of emergency counter. This last one for me is one that I quite enjoy. It is a little bit specific as well, requires good modding, but it gives me a use for Glat that I didn't normally have. Okay, I know it sounds like, oh my god, you're using a GL to take out Gungans. Gungans are that much of a threat, and in my scenario, my Glat never gets a hold on defense anyway, even with really good mods, really good relic levels, really good data crons, the works, she still just gets one-tapped by characters like Stranger and stuff like that. So I actually take in just Glat and Ezra. Now you do need your Ezra to be stupidly fast. You want him to be at least 15 speed faster than the enemy Boss Nass. A lot of Boss Nasses right now are 360 at the top end of Kyber. So having 375 is almost like a bare minimum. Okay, and the order in which you do moves is very, very important. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple of examples. So going into this battle, I always use a Grit Cron on Ezra because it's going to give him some additional stats. Now, it's very, very important that when you start this battle, you use Ahsoka's second special to put Mirai's Wisdom on Ezra. The reason that is so important is twofold, right? You've already got reduced damage from percentile health effects thanks to the effect of the Grit Cron. However, Mirai's Wisdom does other benefits. Namely, it gives him 15 more speed, which is really important to make sure that we sort of keep our speed up, right? But it makes you immune to turn meter manipulation. So if Boss Nass is faster than you and does his second special, can't strip turn meter from Ezra. We need Ezra to take out that shield generator as quickly as possible so that Tarpals over here doesn't just drop bombs on our face. And you also want your Ezra mod for a boatload of health, by the way. I've got 115,000 health, I want to say. Okay, so we start off, you're going to use that special, you're going to get rid of your exile, you're going to get a bonus turn. Now, because you get this bonus turn now, Jar Jar is going to trigger that ability he gets to give a random Gungan ally a bonus turn, but it won't trigger until after you've taken your turn. We're going to use first special, pass our move back over to Glat. As you can see over here, she's going to target the shield generator, we're going to get some good damage, practically kill the shield generator. Now you can see over there the enemy is preloaded. Because that first special from Ezra gives a bonus turn to Glat, it looks like that always triggers before Jar Jar's bonus turn triggers. I'm not entirely sure, I've asked the devs about this, about like what is the actual turn order. And you can see over here, Jar Jar got that bonus turn. If it went to Tarpals, who is at full turn meter right now, this could have been a different story, right? Jar Jar gets the bonus turn, drops the bombs, and then it's our bonus turn because that's how the order of operations go. When we use that first special with Ezra to pass the turn to Glat, she gets a bonus turn, and so does he, but his doesn't trigger till the end of her turn. But when she takes her turn, Jar Jar's bonus turn triggers, he gets a bonus turn in this instance, but it could have been any of the Gungans, right? And then it goes back to Ezra. So in this instance, you use the second special from Ezra, and you're going to do enough damage to get rid of that shield generator. Okay, and because you've got rid of the shield generator, use that special, check it out, we get locked ability block on the enemy Gungan team. That means Tarpals, who just took his turn here, can't do that first special, can't do that AoE massive true damage, and it saves our bacon, basically, saves our bacon. Because he couldn't use it then, we're able to just focus him down immediately, and boom, he's gone straight away. Once Tarpals is out of the picture, the enemy team doesn't really have enough damage. Sure, Boomadir can do some, but we've got so much more to protect ourselves with. Our defense, our health, our stats that we've managed to ramp up in time. Boomadir is way less of a threat at this point. This, to me, is the most reliable counter that I have. The most consistent, at least. Now, it can go wrong. Let me show you something. So this was from my patron, and he just did that one critical mistake, which is you didn't use special 2 on Ezra, didn't give him Mirai's Wisdom. Now, if we have a look, because he just did a basic there, you see the enemy Boss Nass actually went before Ezra. We did the calculation. That Boss Nass, because of his leadership gaining 30 speed, ended up being just a little bit faster than the enemy Ezra. If he'd given Mirai's Wisdom to Ezra, Ezra would have gained 15 additional speed, and he would have been 1 speed faster than Boss Nass. Even though, if he wasn't as fast, if he had Mirai's Wisdom, he wouldn't be able to have his turn meter stripped. And because Boss Nass does that second special, look at Ezra's TM. He was supposed to go, but his TM got stripped down by 25%. Meaning, the entire enemy Gungan team is going to go before Ezra now, which means we can't get rid of the shield generator, which means we can't do so much of the things that we need to do. And once the turn gets round to that Tarpals, this is just Jar Jar Binks, but look, Tarpals has now got his turn coming up. And as soon as he gets his turn, we know that this Tarpals has got 53% additional offense. It's Relic 10. It's got a little bit of Relic Delta going on. It's got lots of good mods. And boom. There you go. That Ezra took 449,000 true damage. You can theoretically tank something like that if you've got a really high health modded Ezra with a lot of additional health on your data Cron, getting transferred into, getting doubled up with his exile, for example, because he gains 100% extra health and protection, and then the Grit Cron triggering and transferring all that protection over into max health. You could theoretically tank that damage, but in reality, you just don't want to tank that damage. That's too much, right? So it can fall apart. And it's a bit of a shame that it all came down to that first move. Now, technically speaking, you could always have that opportunity where Tarpals takes the bonus turn and drops the balls on your face, and you take that 450,000 damage. There's so many things that come into play here, right? The enemy's Datacron with all of that offense, the fact that he's Relic 10, the fact that he was just too slow for us to take out that shield generator. Lots of little things, because you take out the shield generator with that second special, you get the locked ability block, you can't do the AoE, then you can, there's just like layers upon layers and upon layers of why things can go wrong. But all I'm trying to say, boys, is there is no guaranteed counter to this. There's absolutely no guaranteed counter in an ideal world or in a all stars aligned scenario. I'm just trying to find what are the options. Yes, Great Mothers can work if the modding is okay. They're not too fast and your Great Mothers are fast enough and you target the right characters. Or you can go in with Rotter if you don't have a massive Relic Delta and you've got him bulky enough and the enemy is not, super strong on the Tarpals, right? And you can do it with Glant Ezra if you do the right setup and the moves. If you're fast enough with your Ezra, if you've, targeted the right characters and the right units and got the ability block and Tarpals doesn't get the bonus turn. It makes for kind of interesting GAC. But I found it really fun sort of experimenting and trying to find the different team comps that can actually win this. If you've got any other teams that you've had really, really good success versus the Gungans, let me know. Drop it in the comments section down below. I've been taking them to offense to take out Ray teams because that's a heck of a lot of fun. But I kind of want to keep them as a wild card on defense for the rest of this 5v5 just to try and experience getting a hold. Not once has mine held, which is really annoying because I've got some good speed, 360 on Boss Nass over there, and really well modded on the Tarpals, but hey, we'll find out soon enough. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below, and I will see you all in the very next video. Peace out, and may the Force be with you.